Have you ever heard of Ngo Tat To, Quang Hong, or Nam Cao? Don't worry if you haven't, we won't hold it against you. They're just a few of the many popular Vietnamese authors who have contributed a significant deal to the country's literature. And now one US student is trying to popularize it worldwide, one book at a time. Vietnam Television brings us a story.
Casual clothes with a huge backpack. That's how the staff of the Vietnam's National Library could describe this American guy who has been a regular reader there for years. Searching the racks and bookshelves to find famous books of Vietnamese writers to read and translate often takes him hours.
I got a passion for Vietnamese literature long before I actually went back to do my PhD. It felt like a very good way to learn about what Vietnamese are thinking about. And it's very useful, and I'd like other people to enjoy it. So I'd like to translate into English so that Americans who maybe can't read the Vietnamese will have an opportunity to enjoy it.
While many in the United States still think of the American war when talking about Vietnam, Jason doesn't. Doing a PhD on Vietnamese history, Jason realizes that the history of the country has other interesting things to discover. He could spend hours talking about how ancient Vietnam was formed, how the culture developed, or how migration took place in the past.
He always comes here early and stays until it is very late, and he reads all kinds of books and documents that we have. He has a very broad knowledge about different fields of Vietnam like religion, literature. In fact, everyone here is impressed with his knowledge of Vietnamese literature.
It's common to see Jason with street vendors enjoying vermicelli with fried tofu and shrimp paste, a tasty Vietnamese cuisine, but a nightmare to those just arrived in the country. And he walked around the markets, chatting with local traders, or practicing bargaining is another favorite thing for Jason when he has free time, which he says will make him remember this country when he heads back to his homeland.
Vietnam will always be a very important part of my life. It's become such a part of me. My parents in the United States, as long as I've been far away from them, they're still always close to me, and I always still come home, and I always come back to visit, I always come back to stay for long periods of time, and Vietnam will be the same way.
Quang, Vietnam Television for CNN World Report.
Foreigners, including Americans, comes to Vietnam either seek business opportunities or discover the country's beauty during the vacation, but Jason Picard is different. This American man comes to Vietnam because of his love for Vietnamese history and literature. With years living here, he has mastered the Vietnamese language and can use it to talk hours about anything, and that impressed every Vietnamese he met, including me. And after completing the PhD, Jason Picard will come back to the United States, and hopefully with his broad knowledge about Vietnam, he could help other Americans see the true image of the country.
Good for Jason. And that's all for this edition of the program. But don't forget, you don't have to wait a whole week to watch more great World Report stories. Just log on to our website at any time. It's cnn.com/World Report. Thanks for spending time with us. And as always, many thanks to the contributors who share their unique stories with us. I'm Guillermo Arduino. Don't go anywhere. World News continues right here on CNN.